This is another episode of the Nonsense Nexus. I am X, that's Ree. She's gonna listen to me break down some wild things happening in cinema right now. I've gone to the movies, seen a couple things, and I love to talk about movies, so I want to jump into some things here with a very focused nexus on theatrical cinema right now. Not like the state of the business. It's dying. It has cancer in the face and it's bleeding out of its ass. It's not doing well. But certain films are. And it's like a shot of Novocaine in the teeth before these things get their wisdom teeth ripped out while they're wide awake or something. I don't know. I mix my metaphor. I don't care. But I want to review two movies and then just talk briefly about the most recent one I saw. So let's kind of go in order of how I watched them. And let's jump into this Bad Boys Ride or Die. I have a very, very personal thing with this movie franchise. I don't know how to properly put it in words. It's not like it's not an adoration. It's not a grudge. It's a thing. But let's look at this one and try to take all my personal twisted knot of feelings out of it and just kind of talk a little bit about Bad Boys Ride or Die. Following the events of Bad Boys for Life. So in terms of like how I feel about sequels, this one goes right connected as it should. It goes right after that movie, the events of Bad Boys for Life, that's the third movie, set this movie up. Now, my first comment, I want to make sure I say clear and present. This movie should have been called Bad Boys for Life, not the third one. This is stupid. This is the fourth movie.
Is your title
grievance.
The
third movie has the word "for" in the title, and this one should have been Bad Boys for Life, not Bad Boys Ride or Die. The last one could have been Ride or Die. And if you knew you were going to make a fourth movie, why in the hell did you waste the title on it on the third one? Title for it on the third one. See, that tells me this wasn't planned. They didn't know they were going to make this. And I hate when you go part 1, 2, 3, 4, and you don't have a cohesive battle strategy lining these things up. It shows me that you're playing this by ear, you're doing a freestyle shuffle the whole way to the box office, and that means you're going to fumble the ball. And this one doesn't really fumble the ball. Being objective, it continues with what happened in the third movie. I don't want to do a recap of two movies. I don't even really want to do a recap. I want to review a movie without recapturing it because that takes too long. And I think it's impossible to not spoil a movie by doing a recap. I think it's impossible. But just know that in terms of a sequel, it connects directly to the events of the third one, going right into the fourth one. The main through line of the series is Marcus Burnett and Mike Lowry are apex best friends. These two have been tight since before they got the job as police officers, and they're obviously going to be cool from the womb to the tomb. Like, these two are thick as thieves, and that is the spine that the whole movie grows around. And that's present, and it also makes it clear that the family you choose is more important in a lot of ways than the family you are given, kinda. So it does that also, but that doesn't really talk much about like the actual.
So the plot. Normal, okay.
No, that's the exact right sentiment. Like, oh, so it's a generic by the numbers joke. Yes, I would call this a by the numbers. You followed the recipe and you made a loaf of banana bread exactly like Pinterest told you to. That doesn't mean it's bad, but I'm not about to sit here and break out the sparklers and go, woohoo, this is mind-blowing, because it's not. But due to the lateness of my review, I have a little bit of perspective looking at some of the success of this movie. And I do want to hit this real quick because the box office has been getting murdered unless your name is Dune lately. It's over 200 million, like it's over 240 million globally right now. That's a solid amount of money made for a movie that cost about 100 million to make. If you can double your budget on your box office run, your theatrical release window, that's where the money's at. You're doing a good job. So it's successful. Um,
That's cool.
Domestically, it's like what 150 million of that is the domestic, like 106 or something is the worldwide. It's doing pretty good. That's based off of numbers pulled from Box Office Mojo. I'm not giving the hardcore specifics because it's a moving target, but that's just about where it's at. So it's doing well. That's great. Audiences seem to be working with it. The theaters, in particular, need a hit. They need people to be coming to see something and putting some butts in seats. So it's doing that. That's good.
Yeah.
Trying my best not to spoil it in a recap. It's very action sequence centric. That's the bread and butter of the movie, are the shooting and fighting scenes. And it pays a lot of homage to the previous movies. But character-wise, Martin Lawrence's character, I will refer to them by their character names from pretty much here on out. Marcus experiences major character redirection for the purposes of this movie. And to me, this is like the third transformation of the character Marcus Burnett in the Bad Boys series. In the first movie, he was Marcus, Detective Marcus Burnett. Fantastic. Second and third movies, I didn't like what they did to Martin Lawrence. It just felt different. I didn't like what they did to his character. He was more antagonistic to Mike, and it was like they were hiding stuff from each other, particularly in the second movie. I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. In this one, he's on some completely different stuff. And it's like, okay, they're just doing weird things with Martin, and it feels weird. I mean, like, raisins in potato salad weird. Like, what are you doing? And then we get consistent, pretty much stable character growth and development for Mike Lowry, the character. And that makes sense considering these characters are growing with the actors playing them, but not quite. I feel like the characters are acting like men in their 40s, like early 40s at best, when these dudes are clearly 50 years old. Things like kind of character growth we're talking about, Mike's acknowledging a son that he had illegitimately, which makes sense considering how much of a, what's the word, philanderer? One who slangeth the meats. That's a philanderer, right? It's about time he caught a baby. You know, like it's bound to have happened. And taking on a wife, trying to do some classic grown man stuff, which just really serves to add stakes to him. And I guess that's solidly decent for a movie like this. Because their characters are aging, it makes some of the gags feel really cringe. It doesn't sit well with me. And it's doing the thing that Ghostbusters Frozen Empire does, where it's like, ooh, we did this in Bad Boys 1. Ooh, we did this in Bad Boys 2. Ooh, we did this in Bad Boys 1. Let's do it again, do it again, do it again. Will you like us now? No, we will not. So, no. Stop doing that. Because these dudes are way too old to be behaving like this in public. Marcus should not be involved in the plot of this movie based on what this movie does to him in the beginning of the movie. It really makes no sense that there's no barriers. Like, major medical things happen to him in the very, very beginning of the movie. And then his recovery is like, no stress, no high pressure, no major exertion. So naturally, let's go into a shoot 'em up, bang bang action buddy cop movie with lots of 90s action movie style influences pulling you through it. Because dodging bullets and fighting giant reptiles is exactly what someone who's supposed to be avoiding major stress should be doing. And no one brings that up to him. Like, hey man, you shouldn't be doing this. This isn't right. No, let's just go. That was like, you should have left that line out of the movie for how much you gave a damn about it. And then...
probably just there for comedy.
I mean, I think it was trying to get comedy, but one of the comments I'm going to make later on is going to address that. Performance-wise, this is hard for me to say. It was more of the same, and it's rather consistent and uniform. which I guess is fine normally. But since I didn't like the past two Bad Boys movies, this doesn't sit well with me. It's like, yay, we're doing the same thing. Is how I feel, like the whole time. But there are some new elements that they dragged in that they were obviously trying some stuff. There's a FPS sequence. Goes full-blown first-person shooter. It's like, oh, are we playing Call of Duty right now? Because you're looking down the barrel of Will Smith's gun, Mike Larry's gun, while you're shooting people. And it's like, well, that's trying something different. Okay. I mean, I'll give you credit where credit's due. You tried. But that's never impressed me in film, and it's not even the third time I've seen it. Remember the Doom movie? When The Rock was the bad guy, and Billy Butcher... Carl Urban was the good guy, and then the end of the movie, he takes the super juice and he's going through guns blazing to kill all these freakazoids and lead up to The Rock, who is possessed by demons or whatever. And the Doom movie went first-person shooter. I was like, oh, it's going FPS mode because it's Doom. Why does this not hit very hard? Oh, because movies shouldn't do this. So it's like, oh, I've seen it, Bad Boys. Don't lean into this too hard. It's like, oh, so since you're not leaning into it hard, it's kind of gimmicky. Then there's that scene you see in the trailers where they pass the gun by like shooting a bunch of people, throwing the gun over here so that Marcus can catch it, and the camera moves through the air with the gun so it lands in his hands and pop, pop, pop. He shoots this dude, shoots that dude. It's like, that's cool because you're in the middle of an action sequence, which is where this movie shines. But I don't know, man. Mike's aging, like I said, but Will Smith does that thing he does well now, where he thoroughly commits to what he's doing in character. This is a plus in terms of performances. You see when he's in an action sequence, he's doing his fight choreography, and you can tell it's him, not like a stunt double or anything. He's pushing it. He's going for it like he does. And I think that's good. That's really, really good. You can't say that about Martin. It's just like, oh, get this dude stunt double in here. This looks weird. Now I'm going to read directly from my notes here.
Wow.
With the tablet right in front of me because I just want to lean into what I said because I wrote it keeping my emotions out. I truly have not enjoyed a Bad Boys movie since the first one. That's 1995, which I didn't even see it in 95. I was a freaking kid. Didn't get to go to the movies to see R-rated movies like I wanted. I didn't see Bad Boys 1 until it was on, made it a blockbuster night to see that movie. Time seems to hurt this franchise to me. Bad Boys 1, 95. Bad Boys 2, 2003 lost me. That was an 8-year shot. Martin Lawrence has not felt the same since the first movie, and clearly between 95 and 2003, that man went through some stuff personally. Remember when he had the mental or emotional breakdown, and he's been through some shit. So I'm not trying to bag on him, it's just like it has not felt right since that stuff started happening in the 8-year gap between part 1 and part 2. It genuinely makes me sad. It genuinely does make me sad. Because Bad Boys 1 is one of my favorite things ever. And
I don't know why you shit on Bad Boys 2 so much, because I loved that movie. But okay, whatever. Right. Let's not be realistic, but whatever. Okay.
I'll tell you why I don't like Bad Boys 2. I can tell you really quick. Bad Boys 2 was fine.
Don't tell me real quick. I want to hear the rest of your shit.
Okay, I'll finish. I got 3 sentences left on part 4. I'll tell you about part 2 in 30 seconds. Had the sequel started sooner, this whole franchise would be better and different. Like, it's been so detached, it broke the magic. But try to imagine what was happening in the mid-90s, and if you just change 2 Will Smith movies around. If Wild Wild West, which came out in 1999, came out in 2003, and Bad Boys 2 came out in 1999, and the series didn't have the 8-year hiatus, and 2 of them came out in the 90s, Bad Boys 2 would probably be my favorite movie ever. It would have been different. And it would have hit different. It'd probably be my favorite movie ever because it would have been like everything that was in part 1 would have came through. Martin wouldn't have been off. I mean, no, probably 99 is when he was really falling off and kind of coming apart with the emotional breakdown thing. But just saying, if that didn't happen, and Bad Boys 2 could have happened in 99, just 4 years sooner. And then Bad Boys 3 would have been much sooner. And Bad Boys 4 would have been like 10 years ago. we'd have been out here with a strong series and franchise. I would have liked it. But instead, we got Wild Wild West, which is
I like that movie. I
which
don't know
is
what you better
not
not.
line Wild Wild West up with Men in Black, Independence Day, Bad Boys, and it is the weakest one of the four.
That doesn't mean it's weak in general.
It's weak for Will Smith's lineup when he was running the summer through the mid to late 90s.
I don't think so because if you keep in mind too, he had a song with that as well, just like he did with Men in Black and all that.
I know,
And
and the
people
song was the
love
best
that
part of the
shit.
movie.
You are such a hater. Such a hater. That
I,
is not a bad movie.
well, it's the weakest Will Smith movie. Um,
Wait, what did you put it up against? You put it up against Men in Black,
Men in Black 1,
Independence Day.
Independence Day, and Bad Boys 1. It's his weakest movie. It made a ton of money compared to Bad Boys 1. Yes, it did. But it's not as good.
Okay, let's be real. Most movies that are like westerns or whatever, they never are the greatest. But that one, considering like compared to what was that? Johnny Depp and the cannibal. I can't remember his name. Army Hammer.
Oh, Lone Ranger.
Right. Like that was a decent one, but like I mean, people when they come out with western movies, they're not really the best. But that movie Wild Wild West was pretty good. I watched that so many times.
I've watched it a ton of times too. There's an interesting story about that movie that relates to a Superman movie that never came to be. And the biggest problem with Wild Wild West was an executive producer that said and made a mandate, I want a giant spider to appear in Act 3. That movie had moments where it just exuded straight cheddar, and it was like, stop being so cheesy. But I don't like to complain about things anymore. I want to make positive interjections where they're necessary, and I think Bad Boys needs to just find a way to prominently involve the character Reggie more. Reggie was the best thing in this movie. Reggie's scene in this movie where he just pops off, it's like he's been the butt of a joke in every movie since Bad Boys 2. Remember the scene when he comes to take Marcus's daughter out and they answer the door and he was like, how old are you? I'm 16, sir. Nigga, you look 30. And they was just messing with him like, you ever made love to a man? You want to? And Will hit him with that?
Yeah.
That dude has been the butt of a joke since that movie up until this movie when he has a moment to just get off. And I think he has a higher body count than Will Smith does in the movie. Like, it's pure awesome. And it's like, oh, I could watch an hour of Reggie defending the family. Involve him more. That's fantastic. And then, quote that isn't even mine. This is Kelly. Verbatim quote when we left the theater, driving home. She said, all the action was so good. The rest was bullshit. I didn't even say that. She did. So, I would describe this movie as a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Not a snack, but okay.
It has boysenberry jam, which is just weird. I've never heard of someone putting boysenberry on a PB&J. And, I actually just hate peanut butter and don't like it, and it doesn't agree with me either. So, I mean, the bread's good, though. That's literally how I would talk about this movie. That's weird. I don't even like peanut butter, but the bread's good. That's my wrap-up of Bad Boys Ride or Die. Them is my feelings.
Well, my feelings, here's the thing, though. I haven't seen Bad Boys 1 in forever. Bad Boys 2 was freaking amazing. It was so funny. It was hilarious. I had a good song. There's
Oh,
always like a hit song when it comes in. But
it's tainted by Diddy
I'm
now.
right. But like your hate towards Marcus having a breakdown is so like
Nah,
what did you like
it's
here you have
cheese
like it's
balls in
like
this
it's a
movie.
spectrum. Being a cop is a spectrum.
It's a
One on
cheese
one hand
move in
someone's
this
like
movie, man.
cool, stable, whatever, and the other one is like trying to hold their shit together. And he would be that one. So it's like it's not so far fetched. I
All I
feel like
know
it's
is
fine.
I didn't laugh a single time watching Bad Boys 4. Not one time did
Okay,
I
well, I'm
laugh.
not defending that because I haven't seen it, nor did I even know there was a Bad Boys 3.
Oh,
I
wow.
didn't know that. So, I mean, it is what it is, but yeah. So like, but I'm just addressing your hate of it. I mean, Woosah is still a thing now with millennials. Like,
Bad Boys 2 was 30 minutes too long. That
I
extra
don't think
half
so.
hour for that 2 hour and 27-minute movie, they jumped the shark so hard at the end when everything involving them going to Cuba. No. Everything before that, serviceable. That movie was a movie that overstayed its welcome and was like, look, man, just stop. You are Miami cops. You're narcotics detectives. Why are we doing some international sting operation to get your sister back? Why did you write this? Johnny Tapia should have never left the country.
Hater. Such a hater.
It checked me out so hard. That's not the only reason I don't like Bad Boys 2, but that is like objectively, they went too much. They did too
Well,
much.
because that one Russian guy, or I don't know what his real ethnicity is, but the
The character
actor
was Russian.
that was like the club guy,
Mm-hmm.
I love him and everything that he does. And there's just like some awesome quotes from that thing, like that y'all motherfuckers need Jesus, like
There's plenty
woosah.
of
There's so
gems in
many
there.
things. Like I love that movie. You're just a hater. But anyways,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
you saw oh yeah, the Inside Out.
Oh God, yes. Let's get into that. Yes, yes. Let's talk about Inside Out too. Um, Picks up right after part one. It was like big sequel energy again. Um, which isn't hard to do when you have most of the exact same cast doing voice work. You can just jump right back in. And this movie made some changes. I didn't even
Two
care
changes
why.
from my understanding.
Disgust is a
Yeah.
different actor, and so is Fear.
Yeah.
Um, but I was like, I don't even think it matters because despite casting changes, and I'm the type of person that I don't go into a voice acting, a CGI or animated film and worry about who's playing who. I just want to watch it first, and then if it's somebody really impressed me, I'll be like, stay and watch the credits. Like, who did that boy? I want to see that boy well. Then I'll do that. But
Okay.
I don't go in caring, um, unless they did really bad or really good. Um, so the story takes place of over about 3 or 4 days is the whole story. I'm only bringing this up because I'm trying to do like I did with Bad Boys. I don't want to spoil nothing, but I need to frame something that's really interesting about this movie. 3 to 4 days between 8th and ninth grade. Like it's the summer between 8th and ninth grade for Riley. Obviously, as the previews and things will show you, this is a puberty story. It's the introduction of some new emotions that are gonna come in and mess with the sauce. So that's
Okay.
exactly what happens. So like a good Pixar film, we have a solid, clear set of symbols and allegory and whatever the other word I'm looking for is for that figurative good stuff that goes on here to really just parallel. This is what's happening inside. This is what happens in the world. This is a good representation of a lot of those things. That happens really well. I'm always impressed by like things like the stream of consciousness as they show it as a thing in her mind. I'm like, oh, she's thinking about broccoli. Oh, she's thinking about cardboard because she bit into something that's gross, and that's what she thinks the flavor is. And I'm like, I do that too, Riley. I bite into something and I'm like, track shoes. old batteries. That's what this tastes like.
I know you were going to say shoes.
I do that too, Riley. So thank you for just validating my stream of consciousness. But I don't know how she has a stream of consciousness that doesn't have other wild stuff in there, because mine is craziness. But first thing first, this is the biggest movie of the year right now. Like, in 10 days, Inside Out 2 has made north of $700 million, which it took, like, Dune 2 months to do. Not bagging on Dune. Dune's still my favorite movie of the year. But this movie is making... It's on that rate, like that Barbie pace. Like that, I'm going to make $1 billion. Like Mario and Barbie and Avatar. It's making bank. Like, it's making bank more than Inside Out 1 did. I didn't think Inside Out 1 hit that hard.
You're also not a child and don't have a child, so...
I'm just saying, if you ask me the top 5 Pixar movies that would be like, oh, people gonna get turned up for this, I would say, because of personal bias, Incredibles, but oh wait, that's the #1 performing Pixar movie with adjustments for inflation, and it's still in top 3 if you don't adjust for inflation. So Incredibles 2, I would say Incredibles is the franchise. I'd say Toy Story, because that's, 4 of them, that's the GOAT. I'd be like, yep, that's one. I'd say Nemo probably hits that hard. I just don't think I would say Inside Out in the top 5. I haven't really thought about this. I should have wrote this down and actually did think about it. But I would say Inside Out now. Oh my God. It's banging out here. So this is another shot in the arm that the motion picture, the theaters need. And, let's just... You're welcome, Disney. Lord knows they needed a hit. Disney's been out here getting nothing but straight raw uppercuts to the liver in the theaters. Just, hey, let's spend $4 million per second on a 3.5-hour movie, and people will watch it. Nope, turns out we won't. The Marvels. Indiana Jones and the...
Ooh, don't even start getting into that. Don't even start getting into that.
Like, Disney was just throwing up garbage last year, and wasn't coming out swinging this year neither. But Inside Out's here, like, oh, it's summertime. Let's get some big money going. So it's doing exactly that. Now, Riley, hockey playing girl, been a very joyous person. Joy's been her predominant leading emotion out of the group in her head of fear, anger, disgust, and missing one. Sadness.
Being sad.
Sadness.
Yeah.
Joy's been the #1. I literally wrote them in my notes here, and I just changed the text to different colors for each one of the emotions in case I forget which one is which color for some reason. So who's gonna show up when the puberty alarm goes off? Enter the pink one, embarrassment. The kind of teal, bluish green, turquoise joint, one of them in between blue green colors, envy. Then there's a weird indigo bluish one named ennui, which is French for boredom. I never considered.
I know what that is. I watch Gilmore Girls, and if anybody's watched Gilmore Girls, they know.
I never considered boredom emotion. I consider boredom a state of being. Like, I have nothing
it's
to do.
It's not necessarily boredom too. Ennui is like a very solemn, just down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that might make it a better fit. And then they slide one in there before I get to the big one of the new ones. They slide one in here that I can't tell if the color was gray or beige, but it's nostalgia.
What?
And it's nostalgia. Okay. It's this sweet old lady that's come out the corner like, do you remember the time when... Like, you are not old enough for you yet. Like, nostalgia is adorable.
Oh my God, I already love it.
It's adorable. I'm just like, I just want to hug that old lady and listen to her talk. Which sounds like nostalgia. And then the big dog, anxiety, who is orange. Yeah. They show up and it's quite sudden. It's not like, hey, new emotions are showing up on the 13th. It's like, boom, we here. It's very, very sudden. And you feel real bad for Joy and Fear and the others. Like, uh-oh. So you have to, a very short time, they have to try and wrestle with who's going to have what role. Especially since you kind of remember Joy's been the leader of the band. She's the front man. And Anxiety is taking her spot. Like, there's only one steering wheel and you got two drivers right now. So anxiety immediately kicks in, and you know what anxiety is. It's a misguided concern for the future. So you have
Right.
to, I want to drive that home because she's not evil, but she is the bad guy.
Right.
Like, she's not a bad thing, but as you would know in real life, and that's what this movie does so well, is like, anxiety unchecked will mess your life up. And that is what she is doing.
So anxiety taking the wheel isn't the best, but it's normal to have it, just not the lead.
Very normal
Got
thing.
it.
It's a very normal thing,
Yep.
especially for a teenage girl. It's a very normal thing.
Yeah.
And you would think, based on what happens in the movie, that anxiety and fear would be like, cool. Like, hey, what's up, big homie? Let's ruin this girl's day.
Right.
I'm anxious. Well, I'm afraid. What you anxious about? Yeah. You would think they would get down like that. But it's really more anxiety and envy get along really well. Because fear gets lumped in with the original set of emotions. Because it's like new cast versus old cast is where they kind of draw the line. And it's like, that I don't agree with. Anxiety and fear are tight.
Kind of see it. I can kind of see why they did that, but okay.
And then there's an interesting kind of like perspective distance between joy and anxiety, where you kind of feel like, you know, you want to get Joy back in the driver's seat because she's the good guy. She's our main protagonist. Joy has a problem that's the exact same as anxiety's. Anxiety looks forward too much and is worried about everything that can go wrong. Joy doesn't move forward at all. And you start to see that as the movie rolls on, where you're like, oh, both these two major characters are carrying around a significant amount of flaws with them in how they operate. And so the end result is like you're seeing inside the cockpit, the control deck. What do you call that the main set of the movie? Riley's emotions are curating her memories into her main database? Look, I don't know. And they're growing into her personality. And they show that at the beginning, where it's like the memories that your joy and sadness and fear and disgust when I have chosen for you, they're picking them out your childhood to kind of mold her into being the person she wants to be, and hear her sense of self is what they call it. And then the new emotions show up, and it purges that sense of self, and then anxiety grows a new one. And it's like, oh no, we want to get the old one back. That's what our main conflict becomes. Get the old sense of Riley back. But you know good and full well, this girl's turning into a teenager. Your sense of personal self at the age of 8 is not you when you're 18. It shouldn't be. So,
Right.
knowing that as a grown person watching it, I know what has to happen for the movie to progress properly, and it does. And it's like, oh, okay, so we get a reconciliation at the end, and I truthfully have very, very little complaint about this movie. I was enjoying it. I was heartwarmed. I was like sitting there nom nom nomming on my sweet tarts. I guess there is one complaint I have about the movie. I ate entirely too many sweet tarts. And the inside of my left cheek told me that for 18 hours, like, sir, you should have stopped. Now I got road rash on the inside of my cheek from sweet tarts. That happened.
Ooh, road rash, mouth rash. That doesn't sound good.
Delicious citrus candies and tarty things. I'll do it with Sour Patch Kids. I'll do it with sweet tarts. I will do it with tear jerkers. I have little to no self-control with sweets. Yeah. I have
So you like the movie?
I got nothing bad to say about it. It was fun. It was great. Little details and like different characters that she has like in her memories, or she has like secrets of. She has a vault where she's like kind of obscuring parts of her mind, and like a video game character that she has a crush on is in there. Cartoon characters that she still watches. I guess she's embarrassed to admit she still watches this Dora the Explorer ripoff. they're in there in her mind, and my man Ron Funches his voice in one, and I like anything he's doing. He's hilarious. And then my man Yang Yeah is doing the voice for her video game crush. He does the video game news. I watch him consistently. He's also a voice actor, so I just turned up when I heard his voice. I was like, "That's my dog! That's great!" So I was very, very happy for him. You will feel things, emotions,
Okay.
watching this.
Okay.
You will laugh, and some fully emotional people will cry. I am exempt from that second group. But my ending note for this is watch this movie if you have ever known, been, or spawned a teenage girl. I feel like that's a good ride for it. I really do. To do my little snack thing about this delightful movie that was just a straight up cup of pure cool apple juice. No, that's not what I'm calling it as a snack. I thought about this really hard for what to make this, and I didn't want to call it something else that I've called another movie that was good. And I thought about it. It's Skittles. This movie is Skittles. Not because of all the different colors that every character ends up being, though it's quite colorful and the taste the rainbow thing works. It's because all of the movie together is like taking every flavor of Skittles and throwing in your mouth at once. It's enjoyable. It's a good ride. Taste the rainbow, like the package says. But individual pieces of the movie are also very good. So you can just eat the purple. You can just eat the red. You can eat just the greens. Because it's like Skittles. It's good. You can do green and red together and make that combination. You can do like I do and eat traffic-like flavor. And it's red, yellow, and green, and pop them in and chew them up, and it's delicious. Movie is Skittles, man. Inside Out 2 is Skittles, and it's good.
I just want to use that as any kind of saying now. Like, if anything's great, like, man, it's Skittles. Like,
Skittles,
I really
man.
gotta remember to use it like that now.
I should have recorded my face when I realized that's what I was going to compare the movie to, because I was like this. It's not cheesecake, it's Skittles. Yes. That's lit. I was in my kitchen, and I was making
That's a high compliment.
I was making like a ham sandwich or something. I was like, oh, it's Skittles. Very proud of it. So yeah, it's absolutely
Well, that's
Skittles.
a very high compliment. So, especially all things considered, how you went from the other one. So now you have a couple minutes.
I had one more, and this one's brief. I'm not going to do a full review for it because I'm not doing a full review because I'm not trying to say anything bad about it. But what I'm going to say is going to sound bad, especially following Inside Out 2. Because, oh my God, that one should have been last. That's just high praise all day. Saw Bike Riders.
Okay.
Saw The Bike Riders. And it's a period piece set like mid-60s to early 70s. Based on a true story. Based on the photojournalist's book. So he followed this group of people around, this biker club around. I want to use the word club for a reason. Because that's what they were initially. Followed them around taking pictures just for years, apparently. Got to know a lot of the people in the group. And then later wrote a book based off of interviews with some of the people in the club, their wives, one specific wife, and then his pictures. And it's like watching a photojournalistic book. It really was. Which made me say, what is happening? What is going to happen in this movie? Like, I'm seeing events happen. Like, it's like more like a slice of life movie. Like Crooklyn to me, where I'm like, what's the point of this movie? What's happening? When is something going to happen? What are they doing? And I know what's happening. They're slowly spiraling out of control from being, hey, let's get a bunch of the guys together and talk about motorcycles and ride motorcycles and be a motorcycle club. As it slowly degenerates into, well, let's sell drugs and be a gang. Because that's what happens.
So does it more or less sound like or seem like, because I don't know what you mean by that, is it mostly like say you're just scrolling like on Instagram or like YouTube Shorts, and you're like, oh, that happened. Oh, that happened. Oh, things are getting weird. Okay,
It's
like kind of
it's
like that
literally
with
how I felt.
no other explanation of anything.
That's literally how I felt. Except you've got
Huh.
the lead character. I forgot her name. Oh my god, I don't know her name. But she plays the wife of Austin Butler's character. She's being interviewed
Okay.
by the photojournalism guy the whole time, and she is narrating her memories to him into a microphone. Like, here, what happened that day? What happened that day? Go through it all, and it's like listening to someone tell their life story. There's a ton of interesting shit happens. I don't want to make it seem like interesting shit didn't happen. And I think the whole movie really is just a vehicle for Austin Butler to just James Dean a bunch of women's panties off. I really think that's what's happening.
That's what I kind of got from it.
And it's like, oh, do you have a motorcycle bad boy fantasy from the 60s? I feel like a lot of people did, because when I looked around the theater, I looked right, I looked left, I looked down, and I said, I am the youngest person in this theater by 25 years.
Oh shit.
I am not old. I am not young. I am in the middle. These people in here, they have lived. They have grandchildren that are graduating high school. I said, oh, y'all in here having some kind of flashback. I'm sorry. I feel out of place. That movie has a target audience, and I ain't it. I am not it. So, it just made me ask. It had me ask two questions, and I kept track of one thing the whole time I was watching it. I do not regret watching it. By the way, why is a
It sounds
biker,
like you do.
why is a biker club called a club? Because the only thing different between what they did, they had colors they wore. They intimidated people. They beat
Legal
up people.
purposes.
They were exempt from the law in a lot of cases. How are they not a gang already? It's very violent in the first place. Like, oh, you want to challenge me for leadership? Do you want to do this with knuckles? Or do you want to do this with blades? Like, that doesn't sound like how a regular organization works. When you want to challenge someone for the presidency, you have an election. You don't fight in an alley. This is a gang. And it's always been a gang. So,
But it's a club because
and I
for
feel
that
like
reason.
it was only a club because there was a grand total of 4 non-white people in the movie. There, I said it. Actually, it was 5. There was 4 black people and 1 Asian girl, because one of the dudes had an Asian wife or girlfriend or something, and she had like this massive freaking beehive joint on her hair. I was like, how is she holding that up? But on a motorcycle, that mother would be like blowing all back and carrying on. Like, are you kidding me? But that was that.
Oh shit.
I watched it. It's happened. I feel like that was like, this happened. I feel like most of the movie felt like it was more like something from the History Channel with narrative bits thrown in there. Like, this happened.
It sounds like
real.
to me that it should have been a Netflix movie and not in theaters.
Or like a documentary. I think it would have been better as a documentary, going through those pictures and keeping up with those people's lives and what happened and blah, 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 blah. Tom Hardy came out here and did yet another accent. Like, I don't even know what that... I met that man and he said, hey man, what's up? I'm like, who the fuck are you? You don't sound like Tom Hardy. I don't know what he sounds like, because every time I see him, he has a different voice.
Nobody knows.
Like, what?
I don't think he even knows what he really originally came out
But
the womb.
he be doing it.
Like,
He be doing them voices, man. He out here. But, it's cool. Austin Butler did, like, the coolest Mr. Steal Your Girl thing I've ever seen. I think that was worth the price of admission, because it was the coldest way to make a girl break up with her boyfriend and then take her for yourself. It was the coldest way I've ever seen anyone do it in a movie. I was like, that can't have been what happened, because if it was, oh my god, that's amazing. It means you wouldn't want the girl for long term, but you would tell all your boys you did that. It's so cool. I don't want to spoil it, because it is one of the high points in the movie. You're going to laugh. You're going to be like... I don't want to spoil it, and I will tell you after we're done recording, and I will spill all that and spoil it for you. But it's good stuff. But yeah, I went to the movies. We saw some awesome stuff. I had Sweet Tarts twice. 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 Sweet Tarts twice But the second time, I took only a quarter of the box.
Wait, did you have the rash the first time?
Yeah, Inside Out too. I was like,
Oh, so you just continued the fun. Got it.
no, I had a
Okay.
separate box. That was a Dollar Tree. That was like, I just bought like 4 boxes. I still had them. So every time I go to the movies, I'm taking sweet tarts. But now I know to take the box, bust it open, pour it into a Ziploc mini snack bag, and be like, okay, that's enough. And then just take that. And I came out and I was like, that was the appropriate amount of sweet tarts. I do not have inner mouth road rash. Learning took place. Learning.
Growth. That is growth. Well, that's all cool. I mean, you know me, I'm just gonna wait till it all comes out. So, I did really want to see Inside Out 2 in theater. I still might do that because it's probably still gonna be out.
It's not going anywhere anytime
Uh,
soon.
yeah.
They're gonna milk
So,
that one for mega mucho money.
well, mm-hmm. And I would say, like we were talking about, like I think it's making a whole shit ton of money because just kind of like what you touched on, Disney's been not so great with anything. Star Wars, Marvel shit, like Disney movies in general.
I don't.
Like I did see a movie. The crazy thing is like I saw a couple memes of like saying like taking like having like images of like old movies like what was it like Lilo and Stitch and the Frog Princess or Princess and the Frog, whatever they called it. One of my favorites. And like a couple others. And they were like, it's crazy how more inclusive and better Disney was without even trying. And it's like now they're trying and it's like it's missing
It broke the
so
magic.
freaking hard. Yeah. I mean, they had Encanto, but like I mean, that was Lin-Manuel all the way. So,
That
but
was.
like if it wasn't for that, I don't even think anybody would like that.
Yeah, they're trying. They're gonna
So,
try and pull it out when they do Moana 2. When that comes out, they're gonna try and go back to formula. I hope, because I
I don't know
hope
why they're doing Moana 2, to be honest. Like, I'm like,
they want some money.
because my understanding was that they were going to do a live action Moana. And the chick that did the voice, everybody's like, "Oh my God, she can do it. She literally looks like her anyways." Same sound, but she was like, "No, no, 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 no. Like, I want somebody else to have the opportunity to play Moana," which is cool when you think about it. Um, but then I'm like, "Wait, why are they gonna have a second one?" And then they're gonna make a live action. They better not just trash the live action situation and just stick to this. Like, please,
Yep.
please. I have not liked any live action Disney movies. None. I don't care. Lion King, suck it. I don't care. I didn't like it. Like at all. Actually, the only thing I liked about it was John Oliver, but even though he was out of place. And that should have been Trevor Noah. Just my opinion.
Yes.
But I like John Oliver. But
John Oliver's
anyways,
dope. Yes.
but I do think that's why Inside Out 2 is making a lot of money because it's like, oh, finally we can take the kids to something and we'll enjoy it too, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they'll like it. So, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. It's a.
We
It's
shall
it's
see.
a it's a roller coaster ride for some of these flicks. I don't know when we're gonna see them turn the ship around and get back on track, but Disney needed a win, and they have one. They needed one. They need like
Well, they
three
seriously
more.
lost,
They need like
which we both
three more.
probably they need more.
They need 3 more
I
movies to do
just
as good as this one's doing.
I would just kind of like to watch one movie and not need or want or expect a second one with it. Like Finding Nemo, I didn't
Didn't need a
leave that
sequel.
movie thinking that I want to see what else happens. Like the story was told, that was that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that felt great. And then it's just everything has to be a trilogy or whatever. Like it's just it's crazy to me. But
Yeah, I don't want to see Up 2. I don't. I don't want that to be a thing. It's done.
oh, wrong for that. It's not gonna be up to. Homie's probably dead.
Like I
Oh my God. Okay, but here's the one thing I would be on board with if there was a up to, but we're like in our 60s or something. And like, I feel like I'd be okay with that because then Russell could be old as hell.
I mean,
Mm?
I guess, but
Eh?
like, is he gonna put a
Eh?
bunch of balloons on his house? He knows how that plays out. That's not gonna work.
Balloons? I'm not saying that. Maybe by then hovercrafts will be a thing.
So he's gonna
I don't
deliberately
know.
make his house flat on a hovercraft to go. I don't want to see up
Telling
to.
you.
I don't. I don't.
I really don't either. I really like the way it was. So we're cool.
I want Disney to sell Star Wars and sell Marvel to make some money, and then let Marvel and Star Wars go back to where they were and leave it alone.
Listen, I don't even know if I want to, because like
If you say the A word right now, we're gonna have to do a whole
I
other
I
video for it.
I know I can't. I don't want to open that whole shit box up. But
We're probably gonna end up
anyways,
doing a series breakdown
oh no,
of
it'll
the A
probably be
word.
next week because like I've just read first of all, and I don't even think that these are with the other ones, but like I didn't have a problem with it then, but like the wording in the very beginning was trash, and I was like, it and my adventure into that show began and ended just with the reading. Like that was it.
Yep. So you took this
Because I was
whole
like,
super feminist
who
approach
wrote this?
to Star Wars, and a whole ass woman was like, no, and turned it off. That's what they did. They alienated you. They're trying to make this for you, and they pushed you away. And they think they're gonna make their
See, I
money
didn't even
off
know
this.
all that. I just knew I read it, and I was like, the last part was like practicing blah 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 in secret. Like,
This doesn't feel right.
who who the this isn't Star Wars.
Yeah,
Like what is this?
yeah. It's caramelized booty juice, is what it is.
Oh God. Okay. Anyways, yeah, we can't. Don't make
So
me
yeah, we're not
start.
going to delve into that. I think we're going to go ahead and bring it to a dramatic finale here. Um, Thank you for making it this far and rocking with us. If my views of movies offend you, I don't care. They're my views. Have your views. Record your own views. I got mine.
Obviously, they offend me sometimes.
But no, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, hit the buttons, do the things, make comments, engage. We're trying to get better. This is what we do. Thank you. We appreciate it, and we out.
Hey yo, turn up the volume, let me hear the beat drop. Nonsense Nexus in the house, we just can't stop. Crazy